With the Mariden banner literally tomorrow, the question remains, how many of him do you need to pull? What awakenings should you try to go for? Or should you even go for any awakenings? That is the question today. That's the question I'm going to answer. Though I will say, I do recommend you guys don't pull tomorrow. If you can wait another day, I recommend pity swapping. You can look up pity swap videos on YouTube. I'm not going to go too much into it, but basically you can pity swap before you're guaranteed the Lego and get the free rate up on this banner, which is a very, very good banner. And I would recommend you guys do that, but I'm still going to get this out anyways for those of you guys who want to pull. So Mariden, let's go into Mariden and where he might be good. He actually is a lot better than I thought he would be. After my first initial testing, I played around with him a little bit more in places like GVG and a couple more just traditional campaign-like stages. Not campaign stages, but stages where there's a big grace period between when you place them down and then kill some enemies, and then you wait a bit, and then you kill more enemies. That is where Mariden really, really excels. So areas like the Malric Halls, amazing unit there. GVG single target, definitely a lot of viability there as well. And he's still usable in areas like Abyss, doing close to an A5 Wukong. It's about like A3 Wukong damage at A0, which is pretty damn impressive. Mariden's very good, and I'll say right now, everyone should get a copy. If you're not getting a copy, I really urge you guys to. Something that you guys also need to note is with tournaments, try to stay on top of your tournaments. As you can see here, you get like 10 crystals there. Same with most of these tournaments. They'll also have crystals as part of their rewards. Keep up to date on your events. I mean, you can get quite a few summons. Brave Conquest, I mean, this is 6 summons right there and enough gems to get another summon and a bit. And 2 Ancients, which is 60 gems or something better. Then, I mean, there's so many events that are constantly happening. Do all of your events, and you will eventually get enough to get Moriden and the Choose Your Own Limited on the 31st. So I've seen a lot of people talk about, should I skip Moriden? I only have 150 shards. I would still pull, and as long as you're staying up to date in the game, doing the anniversary reward stuff that's happening, you're gonna get enough summons to pull on the limited banner later. Okay, keep that in mind. Everyone should be getting a copy of Moriden. Now, how many do you need? Well, I'm gonna start off by saying the A5, I don't think anyone should be going for unless you are a big whale and you specifically have a thing in mind that you want this for. In which case, I still wouldn't go for it because it's not that crazy. After maintaining Prince of Darkness, which is one of the stronger states that he's in, after maintaining it for the required duration, the hero gains physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction. It's okay. He takes less damage. It's decent. The thing is, in areas like GVG, where you might say it's good, because if you're using him, you want him to tank bookkeepers. The main issue is he has to maintain it for a specific duration, and by then, he's already been bookkeepered and he died. So I don't think this A5 has that much use currently, unless you want to use him as a tank. A4 doesn't matter either. So now we go to the A3, A1, or A0. And I'm going to try my best to break it down. So first of all, everyone needs the A0. And then the A1 is his most important awakening, in my opinion. This thing increases damage quite a bit. And it increases the amount of defense penetration he does. This is very good. It goes from around a 25% chance to ignore defense and restore rage is the big one. It makes it so that it's 45% chance instead of 25, which is almost double the chance, which is huge. And this rage, it makes it so that if he is doing his souped up ult, he ults for 40 seconds and he's attacking consistently. By the time his ult is over, he is almost at another ult immediately, which is huge. It is huge. I can't understate how amazing it is to just chain ults into each other. It's really good. Not only that, he's also getting pretty much double the triggers on the more the defense penetration, right? It's very, very important. He's almost always he's almost always in his ult because of this rage. So you're going to want to get the A1 if you have the summons. Then going to the A3, this is where I would say only whales need to go for, because it doesn't really make him that much better, okay? A3 makes it so that his ultimate, when he triggers it at max stacks, which is honestly very easy to do, he's very commonly at max stacks, especially if he is bonded, he's going to start with max stacks. This will make it so that instead of a 50% boost to attributes, it'll make it a 60% boost, which is something, but it's not exceptional, especially for an A3 unlimited. Then we get during Prince of Darkness state, when not in charging state, can also restore rage for nearby allies at half the normal value. This is where the A3 actually gets quite good. Basically, when he's charging, he gives 1.6 rage per second to allies within 2 tiles, becomes a rage regener, very strong for really anywhere you're going to use him. But when he gets to A3, he does it even when he's attacking. This may have GVG usage if you specifically care about that, but aside from that, I don't think it's that important. It's good, it'll help you out potentially, but I really do not think this is a must-have A3. And I don't even think the A1 is a must-have. So let's say you have low awakenings on your Kigiri or your Wukong, or you need to go for a Diao-Chan A1 because you don't have Diao-Chan and you need to get her to A1 to do Arena and do Abyss and do everything because Diao-Chan's so important, then I would say go for the single copy of Mariden and then save the rest for the Choose Your Own Limited. That's what I would recommend. And that's what I'm going to recommend most of you guys do, because Mariden, honestly, is good enough at A0. Mariden is one of those rare limiteds that the investment is not a high requirement. You don't need to have an A5 to make them useful, like Wukong, or at their max potential more like. You don't need to be like Kigiri, where the A3 turns it from a mediocre DPS to one of the best DPS in the entire game, right? Mariden is just out the box, A0, already usable. Already very strong, especially for early game accounts. If you haven't done Nightmare 4 yet, Mariden is going to be the single best A0 unit you could ever get, except maybe Wukong. And I think that's a good stopping point. And then you need to think about the Choose Your Own Limited banner, because, like I said, heroes like Kigiri, heroes like Wukong, require a lot of investment to get the best value out of. I mean, hell, Wukong's A1 is very strong, Wukong's A3 is very strong, and even then, the difference between A3 and A5 is almost double. This just doubles the ult damage and increases damage afterwards, which is stupid, right? This is the difference between an A4 and an A5 Wukong, is almost double the ult damage. You need Wukong's A5 if you're going to use him at max potential. So then I would recommend going for multiple copies of Wukong, instead of multiple copies of a hero like Mariden that is good out of the box. And then we can go to something like Kigiri. Kigiri's A3 gives him a lot more damage. His A5 gives him a lot more damage. These are two of the most important awakenings in the entire game. It turns Kigiri from a buff stripper in Guild Boss 2. It turns him from, you know, a mediocre DPS in most boss content to the best Abyss DPS, the best Codex DPS, right? You see what I mean, right? These guys require more investment, and if you don't have them at all, like if you don't have a Diao-Chan, you don't have a Kigiri, you don't have a Wukong, those are the main three, you should be saving summons for them, and not only trying to go for them, but going for their awakenings. Limiteds are the single most important group of units in the entire game to pull for, and it's what we should all be trying to save for all the time, because they are limited. They're limiteds. You need to really plan around them, and when it comes to a Choose Your Own Limited banner, which is a big deal, you should be going for the awakenings and the units at once if you have the summons. So what I will recommend is, if you want to pull for Mariden an extra time, the A1 is quite good, it's very solid, but it's not a necessity. The A3, if you're a big whale, is decent to go for. I shouldn't see anyone going for the A5. I think it is a waste unless you're like a top 10 whale in the game. or you have a specific plan and you're willing to spend. And then beyond that point, I think A0 is fine, and you need to plan less around Mariden Awakenings and more around what unit you're going to pick for your Choose Your Unlimited banner. Is it Kagiri? Is yours like mine, where it's A1 and you need to pull them to A5 because you want to do 60k Abyss, sorry. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to go for Kagiri, right? We have, you know, Wukong out here, who's really good in a lot of areas. Arena, GVG. Oh my goodness, Abyss. One of the best units in the game, right? What are you guys planning on doing with the limited banner? I don't think Mariden is necessary to pull for multiple copies. That is my perspective. That's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. But at the end of the day, it's a game. Follow your heart and do what's best for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. See you all in the next one. Destined signing out.